Hey everyone, I'm Jay Morrison, and I'm the CEO of the $50 million Tulsa Real Estate Fund, a Regulation A Tier 2 crowd fund. And I'm also the founder of the J. Morrison Academy, the Real Estate Investors School, and I want to welcome you to JMA. Today you're taking my Real Estate Investors Crash Course. This is a special crash course I put together to educate everyone on what real estate has taught me about gaining financial freedom and also building a legacy for myself and building a substantial portfolio of real estate assets that I can pass down to my family and that can generate me income for a lifetime. So in this course today, you're going to learn more about real estate investing than 90% of Americans in just the next 15 minutes. So I need you to focus, buckle up, and enjoy the ride. Hey everyone, now we're about to dive into our J. Morrison Academy Real Estate Investors Crash Course. And as I mentioned in the intro, I have about 15 minutes to teach you everything you need to know about real estate investing. And keep in mind, this is not stuff that we've learned in elementary school, high school, or even in most of our colleges. They've kept this information from us. And so here at the J. Morrison Academy, we take on the responsibility of teaching you and teaching us everything we haven't been taught. So let's dive into real estate investing, and I want to talk about how it works. I want to break some myths. I want to talk about how it changed my life, and then I want to give you guys a full perspective. Like again, by the end of this 15-minute crash course, you're going to know more than 90% of Americans about real estate investing, how it can change your life despite where you're coming from. So one of the common things that you guys need to know that I hear often is you can't do real estate because of your income, your credit, your age, your background, or your education level. And all of that's false. You can be, when I say do real estate, I'm talking about being a real estate investor. We're not talking about being a licensed real estate agent. That's not this course, right? There are licensing courses out there that teach you how to have a great professional designation and job working for a broker, and that's being a real estate agent. This is different. This is being the real estate investor, the owner of real estate, the one that profits from real estate, the lord of your land, right? So you can be a real estate investor despite your age, despite your income, despite your background, right? No matter what social economic background you come from, any criminal background that you may have acquired, such as myself. I've made a lot of wrong choices as a youth and have 3 felonies and still been very successful in this industry. You can be a real estate investor despite if you have a GED or high school diploma or a college degree. It does not matter. What we're talking about today is owning property, and I'm going to give you some of the key points as to why you want to be lord of your land and own property, right? So this is our little mock 2-family house. It's one of the strategies I talk about in my book, Lord of My Land, and you see in many of my videos, where we talk about owning a duplex or a 3-family, which is called a triplex or a quadplex. And I want to talk about the benefits of owning real estate, right? And remember, you can do this no matter where you start. So one of the benefits of owning real estate is that when you own a multifamily, you can live in one of the units and you can rent the other, right? Which creates what's called cash flow. Anytime you receive rents from another person or income from another person, just by simply owning the roof over their head and owning the land below them, you create what's called cash flow. Now, if you were to rent both units, that'd even be more cash flow. In this case, you can live in one side, rent the other, and possibly live for free or live for cheap, right? So you create cash flow. When you own property, if you get a mortgage on a property and say you own the property for $100,000, right? And you bought it in 2017, right? And in some markets in the United States, many markets, you could buy a property for as low as $100,000, a multifamily at that. So over the years, you end up paying down a bit of this mortgage, right? So just say by 2020, you did what's called principal pay down. You paid down a big part of your mortgage. And so now maybe you owe the bank in the next 3 years $95,000 on the property because you paid down some of your mortgage payments. But at the same time, the property did this. It did what's called appreciates in value, right? Your property appreciated in value, it went up in value. So that means maybe now the property is worth $120,000 in this same year, 2020, right? So now it's worth $120,000. You paid it down to $95,000, and so now you got $20,000 in appreciation, but you also owe less too, right? So you created $5K more in equity. So altogether, in equity in the property, and remember, equity in a property is a difference between what you owe and what it's worth. That's your equity, right? So you can write that down. You're talking about appreciation and value, we're talking about equity in the property. So appreciation creates equity, but so does paying down your mortgage. So in this particular property, you have created $25,000 in equity in the property. And again, this $25,000 in equity goes towards your family net worth. So does this cash flow, living for free. Maybe you were spending $1,000 a month on rent, but now you're living for free, so you're saving $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year that you're saving because you're not paying rent now. So that's a total of $37,000 in family net worth that you've created by owning the asset. When you own real estate, there's also tax advantages, right? There's interest on the mortgage and other maintenance on your rental property and other things you can write off as tax advantages that increase your net worth as well because you're saving money. But keep in mind, one of the biggest things about owning real estate is the control and power you get from ownership. Not only do you own the building, but you own all the land below the building. So that means any agriculture, fruits, vegetables, you own that. If you find diamonds or oil or coal on the land, you own that as well. Any water, trees, there's people that make a living just selling the trees on their land. But you also not only own the mineral rights below the land, you also own the air rights above the property, as well as the overall property itself. So you get ownership and control by owning real estate. So this is the premise of why we all should be real estate investors and be intentional about it, because we're all doing real estate. You're saying right now, I don't want to do real estate, but guess what? You're doing real estate regardless. Either you're going to be the customer or you're going to be the owner. Either way you look at it. So you might as well own the roof over your head. He who owns the most wins, right? Be the Lord of your land. So, and as I always say, God ain't making no more land. So whoever owns the most wins. So this is the general premises of investing in real estate. It's about owning property, having control, and receiving these benefits. But there's ways in which we all can do it, and we just write ourselves out because it seems so big, it seems so complicated and hairy, and it's really not. So for those of you who don't know my story, I dropped out of high school my junior year. I grew up on welfare and WIC and food stamps and Section 8 and government assistance. I grew up in a very poor family below the poverty line. And I also went to prison at 18 years old, facing 3 years to life in prison. It would end up going back to prison 2 more times, serving a total of 2.5 years in 7 different prisons by the time I was 22 years old. And I bounced back from all of that to create a multi-million-dollar real estate investment business for myself, real estate development company, and now the owner of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, a $50 million Regulation A Tier 2 crowd fund, as I mentioned. So all these things sparked and happened for me coming out of the ghetto, coming out of the hood, but I was able to increase my net worth by millions, all by learning these principles. So many of us say, well, you know what? I have no money to start. I have no credit to start. And all those things are okay. So now I want to talk about some investment strategies that we teach here in the JMA. It's all about working backwards. I want you guys to write that down. Working backwards or reverse engineering. So even in the case of buying a home, here's some tips for you in buying a home. One is you got to understand that you can have multiple co-borrowers when buying a home. Multiple borrowers. Many programs only ask for as little as 3% down payment, right? DP means down payment. So that means if you're buying a $100,000 house, you only need $3 grand down payment. If you're buying a $200,000 house, that's only a $6 grand down payment at many banks. So if you don't have the money now, you have a goal to work towards, or you get a part-time job, you get 3 jobs, or put your kids to work, right? So everybody chips in towards this family asset, this family legacy. Not to mention the banks will give you credit towards the future rental income that you're receiving. So if you were getting rent for $1,000 a month, which is $12,000 a year, the banks will give you sometimes 75% to even 90% credit towards this rent you'll be receiving, towards qualifying you. So if you have a job only making 30 grand a year, the banks will look at the future rental income of the unit that you're buying and say, hey, well, you're going to be receiving 12 grand a year. So you know what? We'll give you credit for 9,000 of that 12 grand towards qualifying you. So now instead of you making 30 grand a year, you're making $39,000 a year to own this property, right? And you can do that using your veterans loans, which is called VA, FHA, conventional loans. There's all seller financing. There's so many ways to get into it, but you won't know how because no one's ever going to teach you. They're not going to teach it to you in school unless you are intentional about receiving this kind of financial education. Otherwise, you'll be left behind and just be forever the tenant, be forever the renter, forever the customer, if you're not intentional about learning this stuff. And what I tell all the adults I come across, what you don't learn today about real estate investment and owning a roof over your head, you force your kids to learn because you're too lazy or not disciplined enough to learn it. All right, so you could have, there's low down payments, there's multiple co-borrowers. You get future rental income credit, right? There's so many government programs for down payment assistance, first-time home buyer programs, community redevelopment programs. There's so many programs for you to be able to purchase. Not to mention, they're very flexible on credit. And the great part when we talk about credit, for those of you who fear your credit is not worthy enough, is that all credit, no matter how horrible it is, or if you're starting from zero, you have no trade lines, you have nothing under your name, all credit can be built, repaired, and restored. I don't care if you got bankruptcies, judgments, hospital bills, those pesky student loans, all credit can be built, restored, or repaired, but you have to have the tools and the strategies to know how to do even that, right? It's all about increasing our financial IQ so we can increase our net worth. All right, so now let's talk about investing in general, right? Because you can buy buildings, hotels, apartment complexes, just raw land. I mean, anything that you see, the earth is one big ball of real estate and all of it's for sale, right? So when we talk about different strategies and things that we teach in our school and that you have the opportunity to learn from us, is that there's so many ways to partner on deals, right? There's so many ways to get into real estate. So one way we talk about, right, when you talk about real estate, we break it down, and there's wholesaling real estate. This is something that most of you have probably never heard of, or many of you have heard of it, but heard of it and got taught strategies the wrong way. When you're wholesaling real estate, you're still an investor, right? So you have your investors who choose to wholesale, which is simply where you contract real estate, and I'll break it down for you. When you have a property and you're wholesaling real estate, and we teach this in our course, you just simply put a contract on the real estate, right? And then you assign that contract for money, for a fee, right? This is not being a realtor, it's something totally different. You contract this to an investor for more than what you contracted it for. So you assign this to an investor, called an assignment. Just like an NBA contract. One team owns the NBA contract on a player, and they can assign that contract to another team for a fee. And so you can wholesale real estate without any cash or credit of your own, but evaluating properties the right way, positioning your business the right way, and you can go in and make money wholesaling real estate. Then you have, so we talked about home ownership, right? That's just one of the simplest ways, simply owning the roof over your head. Then you have flipping real estate, which is simply buying low and selling high, right? Selling for more. So you buy a property, instead of assigning the contract, you actually renovate the property, put new windows in, maybe a new roof or whatever the property may need after you evaluate it, and you have your team supporting you. And then you sell that property to an investor or on an open market, or maybe even just rent the property and you don't sell it, and you go out and you can flip and make money on the property. And then you have what's called buy and hold, right? Buying and holding real estate, AKA being a landlord, a lord of your land. Let me tell you one of the great things about being a landlord or lord of your land is that you don't have to be the project manager or the property manager of the property. So many of you say, I don't want to be a landlord, I don't want the headache. Every excuse you got, I already know what's the rebuttal to it because I've been in this industry for 12 years now. So when you say you don't want to be the landlord and you don't want to do the work of fixing faucets or dealing with tenants or evictions, guess what? You don't have to. I tell many of my clients to be an undercover landlord. When you buy a multifamily, go in there and live, but don't tell them you own it. Put a property manager on the property, let the property manager deal with the tenants, the evictions, the re-tenanting, and all the maintenance. And the property manager gets paid their 10% fee of the gross rents. And now your tenant thinks you're a tenant too, and you'll actually find out how that tenant is really living in the property because they'll be looking at you as just another tenant when you're actually an undercover landlord. Great strategy to use, right? So you can buy and hold real estate, flip real estate, you can wholesale the contracts and make money without any investment out of your pocket, or you can be the homeowner. All ways that everyone can participate in benefiting from the appreciation, cash flow, tax advantage, control power, and all the benefits that real estate has to offer. You gotta ask yourself, why does 10% of the American population own 80% of the real estate? Actually, 88% of the real estate. Why is that? Why does 10% of our population own so much real estate? Because this is the #1 wealth-producing vehicle. It's why they don't teach it in schools. It's why the gurus charge so much money to teach it to you, and you're still confused at the end of their seminars. So what we're gonna show you guys is these are general principles. Now you say, well, Jay, I can't flip, I can't buy and hold, I can't do these things that I don't have the capital, I don't have the credit, I don't have the resources. The great part about what we teach also is what's called syndicating deals, right? You can do this with commercial properties or residential. Now, when you syndicate a deal, it's all about understanding LLC structure, right? LLC stands for Limited Liability Corporation. So when you have a company, and it's a limited liability corporation, an LLC, and we teach you this, you start your LLC, but now you're gonna wanna go out and buy property. So every property in which you buy, that property should be owned by a separate company. And that company should be owned by what's called your holding company, what I call your mothership or your umbrella company, right? So here's your umbrella company, right? So this is ULLC. But now ULLC wants to go out and buy a two-family. So now you create two-family LLC, right? But you don't have the capital, you don't have the credit, you don't have the resources. So for every deal to get financed, if you're not coming to the table with cash, for every deal to get financed, there are multiple ways to finance the deal. So, or to structure the deal. Every deal needs credit, it needs banking, it needs financing, and it needs potential teamwork involved. So on all these properties, right, and say you want to buy another one, and this is a 6-family LLC, right? And so you want to buy this property, right? So you got a 6-family. Every LLC and corporation you create, they're all different, can have different partners. So what you do and what we teach is to work backwards because there's 5 kinds of people, right? 5 kinds of rich people, we say. And I know I'm probably running out of my time, so we're gonna have to speed through this crash course, but I want you guys all to get this, and you'll know so much just in this course. So there's 5 kinds of rich people. There's people that are cash rich, right? Those are people who have money under their mattress, or in their shoebox, or in a safety deposit box, or in their savings account, right? You just got cash. There's people that are asset rich, right? That may be you. You're asset rich, meaning you have mutual funds, pensions, 401ks, IRAs, right? Stocks. So you're asset rich. Then there's those that are equity rich. You already own a property, or you inherited property, or you bought a property years ago, and that property increased in value, and you're equity rich. You have a lot of value in your equity. Then there's those who are credit rich, right? Someone who has a great credit profile, a great credit score, but you may not have any equity, assets, or cash. And then there are those who are, my favorite, is where I started, many of us start, rich in ambition. Meaning, you may not have any stocks or bonds, you may not have any cash in the bank, you may not have any equity in the property, and you may not even have good credit, but you are rich in ambition and are willing to say, no, not that I can't, but how can I, right? That's the key to an ambitious person is they always ask, how can I? They never write themselves out, right? No matter where you're starting from. So if you're this person, we can work with you. So what happens is in any transaction, you may say, Jay, I don't have the money, I don't have the credit. But if you had the knowledge, would people around you trust you to leverage their cash, to leverage their assets, to leverage the equity in their house through a refinance or home equity loan, to leverage their credit, to be a partner with you on a deal that makes sense, right? So this is the magic of buying real estate with no cash or none of your own money or OPM, other people's money, and all these fancy terms you hear. The magic of it is being knowledgeable enough about real estate investing and investment that people and partners will trust you to say, you know what, Jay? I see that you got your company structure set up, you got your business and brand set up, you've been educating yourself, you've got a mentor, coach, etc. But okay, you know what? You don't have any money, you don't have any credit. But guess what? We can bring in a credit partner to partner on getting this deal financed because they trust you because of the amount of knowledge you obtained and how confident you are in the business and how the returns of real estate investing work. And you can explain to them what your ROI is and what your purchase ratio is and what the LTV is and what the DITI is and the PITI is. All these terms you'll know because you've educated yourself. So now you can bring a credit partner in on one of your LLCs, and then maybe you need a little bit of cash, so you bring a cash partner in on the LLC. And with that credit partner and cash partner, you guys are all 33% partners on this transaction, and you go buy this real estate with your partners with no cash or credit out of your pocket. It's called syndicating a deal. And then maybe you made some money off of this one, so on this LLC, you already have the cash, so you don't need a cash partner, but you still need a credit partner because you haven't repaired your credit yet or still in the process of working, right? So you need a credit partner. And then maybe this family, this lender says, you know what, you don't have any experience though. I see you got the cash, I see you got the credit, but you have no experience to buy in the family. And maybe that's what the lender wants you to do is have experience. So you can bring in an actual partner, coach, mentor, or other who has experience and have an experienced partner in the transaction. So the point is that whatever you're missing, this is the greatest part about real estate investing, is that whatever you're missing, say it's age, you're only 16 years old, and you can't sign for an LLC in your state, then your parent or guardian can be your signing partner. Whatever it is that you're missing, you can always bring to the table strategically if you have the knowledge base and a financial IQ. This works every day for thousands of my students and dozens of my coaching clients all around the country. I'm talking about I have veterans who are using their veteran pension to buy multiple units throughout the country. I have single moms who are on the 13th property out of Detroit, Michigan. I have college kids who have made their first $15,000 in 4 months just by learning these same and implementing these same strategies. This is no hocus pocus. This is just what they never taught us. So it's new to you. So it feels weird. It feels new, right? So you guys have the opportunity, right? You got my crash course. I mean, I'm just dumped on a crap load of information to you. But by learning what you just learned today, you know more than 90% of Americans about real estate investing. And there's so much more to learn. There's so much vocabulary, terms, verbiage, and strategy to learn. So what we're going to do is give everybody the opportunity today to get in where you fit in. Figure it out what works for you. And so one of the things we want to recommend for everyone, if you're interested in this, you think there's just some light at the end of the tunnel, something here piqued your interest, or just for general knowledge, you know it's something you never learned and you must learn, or your kids are going to have to learn it for themselves, or your family's going to have to learn it for themselves, because you know what, it's just not general knowledge. So if that is the case, what I want you guys to do is check out below, right? Below this video, you're going to see our beginner's course, our J. Morrison Academy beginner's course. And what I've done is I bundled two very important courses, and that is our real estate investors course for residential real estate and our credit course. If I were to start 12 years ago, if I were to start all over again and had the opportunity to take any of our courses, I would certainly have cut myself a lot of losses by learning first instead of bumping my head by joining the real estate, by joining our beginner's course. In a beginner's course, you're gonna learn all the basics of building credit, repairing credit, dealing with those inquiries on credit, just understanding how credit works and how you can leverage it, because you can leverage your credit to get cash as well. We teach that. How to take your credit score and profile and go out and get $50,000 to $100,000 in unsecured credit to yourself or to your business, right? We teach you how to build your business credit. These are all strategies that we can go on for days talking about, but all these are at your disposal, right? So also in a residential course, we cover everything about residential real estate investment. But the coolest or best part about our residential real estate course and credit course is that they all come with weekly mentorship calls. Meaning not only are you learning in lessons just like this that are very detailed and through our textbook, but you're also getting weekly calls to support you. So you can actually call in, talk to myself or any of our partners and get real advice, real strategic advice, real support, real encouragement in our course. You'll also be a part of our private student community where you can network with other students. So all of you today have a choice, have an option to join our 6-month beginners course, which either you can take our residential real estate course or our credit course, or bundle them together for one low price and be able to take both courses. And I think that will set you on your way. Again, you gotta learn what they never taught us. So if you want to take it a step further, you say, you know what, I get the beginners, I'm cool with that information, Jay, but what else you got for me? I want to say we have a super dope course. I mean, this thing is amazing, and this is our Wealth Mastery course. It's a 12-month program where you'll be able to get the residential real estate course, the credit course, but you also get commercial real estate, self-mastery, which is for self-development and personal development. You get our business mastery course and stocks and finance. You learn every pillar there is in regards to building wealth. Stocks and finance, business, residential and commercial real estate, self-development, and credit. You get it all in one program along with the weekly mentorship calls, the private student community, and all the archive of our lessons, mentorship calls, and videos, right? You get all that in a wealth mastery program. And then for some of you, understand that our online learning is just not gonna be enough. You need more hands-on. You need someone to kind of touch, call, feel, and someone to be there for you in a more intimate support. And that's why we have our special one-on-one coaching program. In our one-on-one coaching, we offer credit to cash coaching, just teaching you how to leverage your credit to cash. Or we have our group coaching in our one-on-one where you can learn with a small, intimate group, but still get those one-on-one calls with myself and the team. Or you can hop into our turnkey coaching, where if you're someone who's rich in any of these categories and you want to partner with us and you want us to be your coach and partner with you on deals and show you how to take that cash under your mattress or that cash in your safety deposit box and park it into real estate, or show you how to take the assets in your 401k or self-directed IRA or pension and park it into real estate where you can make way better returns than in those markets, or take your equity from your home and park it into real estate. If you want us to show you that and partner with you, we can do that in our turnkey coaching. Or if you just flat out want to do it all yourself, but you want my hand-holding, you want my guidance at the highest level, we also offer an exclusive one-on-one coaching with me as well. You can read all of that on our coaching tab. Now, for some of you guys, all this is too overwhelming. You're not really ready for the beginners. You're just finding out about me or the school, and you just kind of on the fence about it, or you're not ready for wealth mastery or coaching. That's totally cool. What I want to do is give you guys a week hall pass to JMA, right? So I want you guys to come to JMA for a week, take our hall pass, and experience the school. Experience a couple lessons for yourself, experience our mentorship calls, and we're not gonna block you guys from the calls. If you take our hall pass, you can hop on the calls and ask live questions with the rest of the students, and come see what the J. Morrison Academy experience is like. Our school is now going on our 4th year. We've been primarily online, but we're bringing our first campus to Atlanta, Georgia, where you can learn in person at our Atlanta, Georgia campus, but still get supported with all the marvelous things that we do offer in our online community. So one quick tip I want to give you guys before we head out to make this crash course as thorough as possible is that you got to remember, everybody with money has the same problem. I did a cool YouTube video on this. No matter how much you got, right? If you got 10,000, 100,000, or $1 million, right? Everybody has the same problem. And that problem is, if you're putting that money, right? If you're putting that money in the bank, how much does it get you in the bank? Say the money gets you 1% in the bank. So if you get 1% in the bank, you're making $100 on 10,000 a year. You're making $1,000 on 100,000 or 10,000 on $1 million, right? If you get 1% in the bank. If you're getting 3% in the bank because you got it in a CD or some kind of higher banking institution, or even say 5% in a mutual fund, that means you're getting 300 here or 500 here, 3,000, 5,000, or 50,000 even at 5%, or 30,000 on $1 million, right? So everybody with money wants to figure out, if I got $1 million, what's the best place I can put my $1 million? If I only got 10K, what's the best place I can put 10K? The greatest part about real estate and why we are able to offer it so well and keep growing our business is because we know with real estate returns, we're averaging between 16 to 27% what's called ROI, return on investment, from real estate investments, whether it be residential or commercial. So when you can show anyone that has this kind of money that there's a better place to park your money than the standard bank they've been teaching and preaching and enforcing on us for years, we can say that men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. Real estate numbers will always beat out and be more competitive than your mutual funds, your stocks, your CDs, and your traditional savings account or checking account. And that's where we win, is by sticking to the numbers. I want to show you all this. My team wants to show you all this. So I want you guys to feel encouraged to join our beginners course, our wealth mastery program, our one-on-one coaching below, or simply come in for a week and take our hall pass. All right, guys, you have now taken my 15-minute real estate investors crash course. I hope you got a lot out of it. I want you guys to take action today in one way or another. And so here's the multiple ways you could take action, and it's a way for everyone. Some of you guys are beginners, so I want you guys to check below for our beginners course. And what you're gonna see is that we're gonna offer you a course where you can just get residential real estate investing, or just get our credit mastery program and learn everything about credit, or bundle those and get them both. And there's multiple ways that you can take this course. You can fast track it, you can take it monthly, but either way, you'll get your weekly lessons, or get all your lessons up front, or your mentorship calls if you so choose, right? So we're gonna offer you mentorship calls, multiple lesson options, but just go check the beginner's course if you wanna learn residential real estate investing and credit mastery. And for those of you who want all the information, right? You've seen this stuff behind me woke you up. You've seen a bunch of different strategies you never heard before. You know, there's a lot more for you to learn. Take the time to dig into and look into our wealth mastery program. Our wealth mastery program consists of the same residential real estate course and the same credit course, but you also get a self-development course, a business mastery, a commercial real estate course, and a stocks and finance course. So for about the same tuition that you would just get the residential real estate and the credit, you'll get 4 more courses for the same tuition. I want you guys to look into our wealth mastery program. This also comes with weekly mentorship calls, unless you want to just quickly fast track the course. So you got your beginners option below, our wealth mastery option below, and then for those of you who want a little more hand-holding and a little more intimate of an education and relationship, why don't you look into our one-on-one coaching. We offer credit to cash coaching, learning how to turn credit into cash. We offer a group coaching. We also have turnkey coaching where you can partner with us and we'll show you how to park your equity or your capital or your savings or your pension or your 401k into deals. Or you can get the one-on-one coaching exclusively with me and the higher level ups of our organization, and you get that one-on-one coaching where we can show you how to be the next ultimate real estate investor and developer. And now, if none of those things, they all are too overwhelming, and you're just learning out about JMA and myself, and you just want some time to think on it or kind of feel what the experience is like, we offer something really special, and that's called our JMA Hall Pass, right? You can be a JMA student for a week, come in our halls, our online halls, and check out the entire academy. Get a couple of lessons, hop on the mentorship calls. We're not gonna hold those from you. You guys have the opportunity to hop on the mentorship calls as well, just like any other student. Ask some questions, learn from us, get a couple lessons, see what JMA is all about. So at the very least, you guys have every option to get with me one-on-one, and if you get to hear from my one-on-one coaching clients, you'll see how pumped they all are because I'm very accessible. I do a lot in regards to my businesses and also human rights work and social activism, but I always make time for my very important one-on-one coaching clients. For those of you who aren't ready for the one-on-one coaching level, you have everything to work with within our wealth mastery program and within our beginners course. And then for those of you who just aren't ready yet, just hop into a hall pass and check us out for a week and see all the awesomeness that we got here at JMA. So I'll see you guys soon. We've been 4 years now and running online, but now we're bringing our J. Morrison Academy to Atlanta and starting our first Atlanta campus, and hope to see some of you guys as regulars in our Atlanta campus. But these are the options. I hope this credit crash course, I hope this real estate investors crash course has done wonders for you. This will change your life. Pass this information on to your friends and family, and let's continue to build wealth. Level up, y'all. Peace.